decline and rise by a sort of entree index.
At the low point of the recession, how many dinners were you doing and how many are you doing now?
We were doing as low as $250 a night, $250 to $400. Now we're doing between $450 and $700.
Who also worked in the State Department under President George W. Bush, Mike Gonzalez. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Good morning. Okay, we're going to start the debate in a moment, but first let's point out exactly how much is paid for Maryland schools in state tuition. In-state tuition is set, and we've got a graphic, we're going to put it up right now. In-state tuition, as you can see, is $7,500. Out-of-state tuition is $19,500. So, in other words, it's $12,000 more for out-of-state students. So, Francisco, doesn't this actually punish out-of-state legal residents because they've got to pay $12,000 more than in-state illegals?
No, now, first of all, the fact that they're in-state undocumented doesn't make a difference because they're still living in-state, which means they're paying the sales tax, they're paying the property tax, they're paying their fees and the fines, the things that support the tax base for the university. So we're not talking about legal residents in the term of federal law. We're talking legal residents for state law. The fact that they're there doesn't make the in-state tuition go up for anybody or the out-of-state tuition for anybody either. If we exclude them, then you're really creating a void in the in-state tuition part, which would make tuition go up higher. So aren't we all just better off letting people that want to get educated? And when we're pushing around the children of undocumented aliens, we're really just bullying them around. They have no way to counter this. They had no choice in being here or coming here. Sure. And they want to get an education. What's wrong with that?
Mike,
and we don't have any problem letting people
Mike,
from
obviously
Pakistan.
Everybody wants everybody to get an education. That's important. But well, is this fair? Mike?
Francisco, what's wrong with that? It's illegal. As you well know, in 1996, Congress passed the Illegal Immigration Reform and Immigrant Responsibility Act, which says that states cannot grant in-state tuition to illegal students unless they grant the same rate to out-of-state students. So the Attorney General Holder should just go after this law. Now, this would have been fixed by the DREAM Act that Senator Marco Rubio was working on in Florida. However, President Obama inserted himself into this in June and overreached and passed through, skipping Congress, passed this two-year deferment for these students, and did not take care of the in-state tuition.
Right, exactly. Now,
because he can't.
Now we get where you're going. Now, Francisco, the state of Maryland actually did pass their own version of the DREAM Act, but so many people in the state were incensed by it. They collected so many signatures. It's now on the ballot on Tuesday.
You know, it's proper to put it on the ballot. I have no problem with that. But, you know, no matter what he says about the 96, we passed by Republicans and Democrats in Texas in the year 2001. And I think down here in Texas, it goes beyond the partisan politics. We agree down here in Texas that it doesn't cause a drain. It has not cost us any worse. The in-state tuition went up simply because we deregulated the tuition. But it works here in Texas perfectly fine.
Okay, well, now we're talking about Maryland, though. Mike, the worry among some is that some illegals will effectively replace the legals.
Well, first of all, it's illegal. We've taken care of that. The second part is liberals had passed these quotas, these set-asides, these preferences, and because a lot of illegal immigrants are minorities, they will necessarily push out other students. I mean, nothing Francisco says can counter that.
Exactly.
The problem is with these
guys?
set-asides and preferences.
This debate, a good one this morning. Thank you very much for taking part. It ultimately will be settled by the people of Maryland on Tuesday. Francisco and Mike, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, straight ahead, he's a former Secretary of State and White House Chief of Staff, and that's just the beginning of his credentials. So who does James Baker think should be the next president? He tells us, top of the hour. And we'll tell you about media bias. It exists.
The rhythm of life. Where do you hear that beat? Campbell's Healthy Request Soup lets you hear it in your heart. Heart healthy, great taste. Sounds good. It's amazing what soup can do.